What's going on, guys? It's your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're gonna be doing the comprehensive complete beginner's gear guide. So I wanted to make this video because I have a lot of people, in my comments asking a lot of things that I feel that should be common knowledge for a lot of you people when playing Grand Cross. And then, it's been like 2 years since the game's come out now, and we have the 2-year global anniversary. And so I thought it'd be a good time for newer players especially to let them know how to be gearing your units, where to be getting your gear positioning, and all that stuff in this video. So I'm gonna have sections in this video depending on what you need. We'll have the timestamps and everything, so check the link in the, or not the link in the description, but the description will have the timestamps for every thing you need specifically. But yeah, let's hop into the video and get going on how to be getting the best gear for your account. First things first, how are you going to be getting your gear and where can you get it? So if you guys don't know already, there's going to be this section on the battle part of the game. Obviously this depends on where you are in the story, by the way, but once you've beaten chapter 6, this is where this is going to unlock. So you have the equipment section on battle. If you click on the equipment section on battle, it's going to show you each gear set that you're able to farm through free stages. So if you go here, you can see that you're able to farm all of the pieces here, but as you can see right under the rune, it's going to say boss battle. So depending on what piece you need, you can actually farm depending on what you need, basically. So let's say I wanted to get some attack gear. I could go over to this, I'd press start, and it would start up the mission here, and every time you clear the stage 8 times, you're going to be getting a guaranteed one of the gear pieces. And this is good because the drop rate on the gear is only 3% for the SSR gear, and that's the gear ideally you're going to be running on your characters, later game, right? So if we go here and we actually go to the rewards, as you can see, the necklace is going to be a 3% drop rate to get the SSR one, and if you do clear all 8 times, you are going to be getting one copy of this necklace right here, obviously at a random stat. So that's going to be the location you can actually get them, and then the boss battle itself is going to be where you get the rune. So every piece you can get is going to be through one of these stages. If you guys don't know, if you click on this little button on the bottom left, it'll actually show you all the items that you're able to farm in each area. So you're able to see, oh, I can get the bracelet in this one, or oh, I can get the belt in this one, right? So it kind of gives you an idea of where you're able to actually farm your gear. Alright, so there are a few other places you can actually be getting gear as well. The first one being the PvP shop. So if you go to the guy that's standing right over here in your tavern, and you actually go to the Fight Festival shop, you're going to be able to see that he's going to be selling the crit damage gear, the crit defense gear, and the lifesteal gear. So these are the last 3 sets of gear you can actually farm. Or not farm, but collect through this guy. So if you do want to buy it, he does, depending on the rank in PvP you're at, you can actually buy a different level of the gear, and it goes up from its common gear all the way up to SSR gear. So that's going to be one spot you can actually get those pieces of gear. And if you're looking to get other gear as well, you can go to the equipment draw, which is going to be from the shop. So if you go to the equipment draw here, you can actually see you're able to get, if we go to the rates here, you're able to get the attack gear, the HP gear, the crit chance gear, crit resistance gear, defense gear, and recovery rate gear. So that's going to be where you're going to be able to get these. And then if you have PvP boxes, so depending on your rank in PvP, wherever you finish, right, in ungeared PvP, you're actually going to be getting these boxes, which will give you the drops for the crit damage, the crit defense, and the lifesteal gear. So that's how they kind of split up the gear, and depending on where you can actually get them as well. But yeah, and then I think the last spot you can actually get them is going to be through patrol. So if you go to battle and you go to patrol right here, you're actually able to get gear every time you set all and send it out. So as you can see, I'm able to get a crit damage piece right there, crit chance right there, attack, defense, HP, and yeah, and then you're basically able to get a few pieces of gear through this as well. So this is going to take some time. It's not instantly. Alright, now we're going to be hopping into knowing what gear goes for what type of character in Grand Cross. Depending on the character, obviously the way they play in the game, either if they're a DPS or a support, they're going to be running a different type of gear set. The support type characters are going to be running HP defense, so supports or tanks. As a few examples could be Margaret, Tank Diane, Matrona, Red Arthur. Those are just a few examples of characters that you might actually run HP defense on. And for DPS characters, they're going to be running attack crit damage. A few examples of DPS characters can include Trader Meliodas, Festival Winged King, and the one Escanor. So let's actually go over the gear itself and talk about the sets of gear and how they work. So on Trader Meliodas here, as you guys can see, this is going to be a 4-set attack set. So as you can see, it's going to say 4-set attack 20%. So you need 4 pieces of the attack gear to actually get the actual set bonus there of 20% attack. And then for the crit damage piece, it's going to be 2 set of crit damage 20%. Depending on the gear piece, you know, obviously it depends. It's either going to be 2 set of something or a 4 set. And what you want to do is you want to have a 4 set and then a 2 set for one character, because you have 6 total slots available for you, right? So you want to make sure you're having a 4 set and a 2 set. For a DPS character, as I explained, you want to run attack crit damage. So you would do attack and then crit damage and then, you know, attack. So you'd want to make sure that you have this unlocked right here where it says 20% attack, 20% crit damage, and you know that you have these set bonuses of effects being applied. But yeah, that's basically how you go about that. And then for like a HP defense character, which I do have HP defense for my Trader Meliodas, it would be 4 set HP, just like the attack, and then 2 set defense. So you're able to have the 4 set HP, 2 set defense for HP defense. So now let's actually talk about gear positioning and why it's so important in Grand Cross. If you guys don't know, gear positioning can be super important if you don't know what you're doing, you know what I mean? If you know what you're doing and know gear positioning, it's going to make your life so much easier. And I'm telling you guys right now, it's a really helpful tip for free-to-plays. So just listen and hear me out. So when making gear like this, as you can see, the layout of my gear, I have the attack piece on the top, another attack piece on the top, the crit damage piece in the middle, the other crit damage piece in the middle, and then the other 2 attack pieces on the bottom. The reason you want to have it set up like this, 99% of the time, by the way, there are a few exceptions, but 99% of the time, the reason you want to have it set up like this is because the least important stat on a character, regardless of who the character is, like, unless it's Tarmiel, 99% of the time, defense as a stat is not good in Grand Cross. It doesn't provide as much per se as HP or attack. If you are scaling your CC and trying to have stronger CC, the more HP you have will be the highest increase of CC you can gain on a character. That's going to be the way you can actually boost your character. And the reason why it works like this is because you gain more attack and HP than you do defense on substats, regardless of what you're building. And that's just because defense as a stat doesn't go as high as attack and HP per se. So because of that, you get less combat class, right? So that is why you want to have the, I don't know what you would call it, but you would call it the 2 set pieces. You want to make sure they are always in the middle, 99% of the time. And the reason for that is because the middle pieces are going to be the ones that re-roll the defense stat, and you want to make sure that you're re-rolling the defense stat here, because regardless it's going to give the most CC, but having these middle pieces be defense is going to be very, very important. So there are a few exceptions to this rule, and I'll tell you guys the 2 exceptions that I've had experience with myself. That's going to be Purgatory Bond and Valentine's Molasula. The reason they have different setups for their gear is because these are very unique characters. Purgatory Bond scales off of damage through HP, and the way he works is that attack on him is not useful for damage because it has no effect on his kit at all. So the top pieces being attack pieces, you can actually change them and those be your 2 set, so that you're able to run crit chance, crit damage, right? Because it's not going to be as much of an increase for Bond per se as defenses, because defense is going to provide more CC than crit chance, crit damage will in the top pieces. So that is why, depending on the character, obviously you're going to have different scenarios where your 2 set is going to be on the top only, or it's going to be in the middle, or it's going to be at the bottom. And Valentine's Molasses is the one where she has it on the bottom, where she has the 2 piece on the bottom, because if you're going to be running Valentine's Molasses, you want to have 100% lifesteal, and the only way to achieve that is by having lifesteal rolls on your bottom pieces, as you guys can see, right? So that's just a few exceptions. 99% of the time though, you're going to want to have the defense stat be the worst stat, but being the worst stat, you still want to have it as defense. As defense rolls, I should say, which I'm going to segue into that, but that's going to be gear positioning and why you want to have it set up in this manner. It also does help as well when swapping gear. So let's say if you make an HP defense set for a character like King, If you have an attack crit damage set for king as well, and you have HP defense, you can actually interchange the pieces if you want to run attack defense, if you want to run HP crit damage, if you want to run, you know, anything like that, you can interchange it. So if I wanted to do like attack defense king, let's say, just you know, maybe you have like 6 out of 6 festival king and you want to run him as Link, right? You can actually change to attack defense, because if you have the exact same setup of gear, you can just move the pieces fairly easily like this, and you won't really have to worry about, you know, mismanaging your gear, moving like 3-4 pieces, when all you have to do is just move the 2 pieces and boom, you have an attack defense set, right? It's not hard at all. So that's basically how gear positioning is very important for your characters. Remember, like 99% of the time, I have to preface this because there are, like, you know, there's Purgatory Bomb, there's Valentine's Molesters, there's going to be newer characters in the future that do have a different style setup for their gear. But if you're investing in making your gear, that's going to be very important on how you have your positioning of your gear. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be discussing is going to be substats and how you actually can reroll the substats on your gear. Depending on the rarity of the gear, rerolling the substats will either cost gold, diamonds, or anvils. And the way you want to go about it is only reroll SSR and UR gear with anvils, and you can reroll common and R gear with the gold. And the reason, like, you might want to run, like, let's say like you want to run like an HP rune. If you guys don't know already, these 3 pieces on this side of the gear are the least important pieces of gear in terms of CC. Just kind of like how I was explaining the defense pieces in the middle, these 3 compared to these are a lot less in terms of CC. As you can see, the base style on this one's 840, the base style on this one's 100 or 1637, right? It's basically doubled. So the way you got to look at it is, like, if you are like free to play, right, and you're like, oh, you know, I don't have a ton of anvils to reroll all these gear and make it like perfect pieces, right? What you can do is you can actually run like common or R gear and actually use that to suffice, because you're able to, as an example, I'll just like level this up just to show you. But if you go to, like, I'll just go to Awakening tier 2, it'll load here. Yeah, and then as you can see, we got lifesteal rolls. If we wanted to change those rolls, because it's an R piece of gear, it's not gonna, you don't have to use anvils, you can actually use gold, and that's gonna be a free-to-play currency that you can actually use to re-roll this type of gear. SSR gear, I think it's SR gear or higher, regardless of what you use, is always gonna have to use anvils though. So if you are using like if I go to this piece right here where I don't have a perfect set, if I wanted, I could use 5 anvils here to re-roll this piece of equipment. And what you can do when actually going for rerolls on gear, so like I'll get a character actually that doesn't have like good rolls on them, because I know my Esterosa, I'm building him HP defense UR gear, just him as an example, right? Like, let's say you want to get defense percent on your pieces here for your necklace. What you can do, and especially because it's a defense piece, all you would have to do is just put it at 1% like this and then re-roll it with your anvil. So you save a lot of anvils, you're able to get the defense percent rolls, even if it is a min roll. You know, later in the future when you have enough anvils, you can just re-roll it again, because these pieces in the middle are the least important. Or if anything, you could just leave it the way it is and focus on the top and the bottom pieces, right? But yeah, like just as an example, like here, what I would do is I would always go to these pieces that aren't attack, and I would just put it to the min roll, and we would start re-rolling till we got attack percent. So let's just try it. Let's see if we can actually get attack here. So we got crit damage. I'm pretty low on anvil, so I don't even know if we'll be able to get it. Yeah, so we got an attack roll right there, right? Can we get another attack roll? Let's see here. Come on, this is for the video. Hello, come on, attack. There we go. So just like that. That's a good example, but basically you would use the least amount of anvils just to get the roll itself, because you're always, regardless of the roll, and I'm telling you guys, a min roll attack percent is like always better, like 99% of the time, bro, than like anything else, like crit chance or crit damage. Like maybe if you have like a max roll crit damage roll, maybe, but the attack percent is going to give you more CC, and re-rolling gear in that manner is actually going to give you, is going to save you on anvils and also increase the amount of, you know, attack percent, HP percent, defense percent you're going to be getting on your gear sets. But yeah, and then as I was explaining, I guess like with this is like also part of this part of the video. You always want to have defense percent in the middle, right? Defense percent in the middle, HP percent on the bottom pieces, and then you want to have attack percent on the top pieces. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that is something I wanted to mention because as I explained earlier in the video, attack, defense, and HP in terms of CC as basic stats or combat class is going to give you a lot more than the substats. So the substats are just percentage values. As you can see, they're not like big numbers compared to where HP is like 160k there, 8,000, 10,000. These are just like 100, like 100 at the most, right? It's not anything too crazy. So the most value you'll get in terms of CC for your characters is going to be running attack, defense, and HP as the substats of the top, middle, and bottom pieces respectively. So that's going to be substats and how to reroll gear using Anvils. Alright, so I want to explain where you guys can actually get your anvils. If you guys don't know, anvils can be obtained through the anvil dungeon in Special Dungeon for Soulgrips. If you go to here and you have an hourglass, which you're going to be getting every login. My bad, not every login. It is every every other week they give you a hourglass, by the way. So, just add that into the video. Amazing, thank you. If you go to the special here and you scroll down, you're actually going to be able to see the Broken Clock Tower, which is going to be able to drop you anvils every time you clear. It is a harder stage. As a newer player, you're probably not going to be able to clear the highest difficulty of it. But if you are able to clear a whole Broken Clock Tower time limit dungeon, I think it's about like 600 anvils you can get, give or take, if you have like a really good team. So it's around that amount of anvils you can get guaranteed, and it's pretty good, man. So that's going to be a spot where you can get anvils, and then another spot is going to be through the training cave, which is actually going to be revamped fairly soon as I'm recording this video, where you're actually going to be able to skip ticket it, but at the moment you can't. So yeah, like anyway, you're going to be able to get anvils and hammers from this, which is actually going to be very beneficial, and alongside engraving stones, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. So hammers, which I did not mention either, are going to be a very, very rare item, which you don't get a lot of, but when you do, it's very nice, because what hammers do is they force increase the stat that you have. As you can see, I only have 6 hammers, but I guess I'll go on like a character that I'm already building, just for a good example here. So if we go to like, I don't even know, like I guess like my Margaret. Does my Margaret have good HP rolls? Let's see. Yeah, she's perfect there, almost perfect there, so perfect. So I'll actually increase this with a hammer. So what hammers can do is they can increase the stat that you have instead of re-rolling it completely. So it's basically just increasing the stat. So if I do 5 hammers here, it's going to go from 2.9% to 3% total. So that's how you're going to be able to increase the percentage there on a piece of gear. Never use hammers on common gear. Always just spam re-roll it. Always use hammers on SSR and UR gear that you plan on using for your characters, and make sure that you use the hammers when it's about like 2.5% or higher, depending on the type. But I would usually go for around that much if you are lenient. But yeah, you just only use the hammers on gear you invest in for your good characters, and make sure that you use it at about 2.5% or higher. Alright, how to UR gear your characters. So if you guys don't know already, if you go to Merlin in the tavern, you can actually create UR gear for your characters. And the way you can get UR gear is you're going to need to get engraving stones from the training cave. The training dungeon is just an event where every week it's going to open on, I think it's Saturday or Sunday. I don't know the exact date, but I think it's Sunday. Every week it's going to open on Sunday. You're going to get a key, and you're going to be able to open the training grotto and training dungeon and just clear through the fight. Before this video is being uploaded, they're gonna be, or not before, but like 2 weeks from now, basically, from when this video is being recorded. So if you're watching this video after the fact, they will have skip ticketing in training dungeon. It's just gonna be that you need to do some missions to actually do it. So stay tuned on the channel if you want to see like a guide on that. I'll probably have a guide on how to clear each of them. But yeah, that's going to be something that comes in the future. But for now, you're going to have to clear every single stage having a monocolored team to beat the opposing colored unit. And that's depending on like the video. I probably have a video on my channel actually going over like the training grotto and like what teams to run. But yeah, basically, training grotto is going to be the way you're going to actually be able to get the engraving stones. And then what you can do is when you're done with training cave, you can go to Merlin. As long as you've beaten, I think it's like chapter 8, I think chapter 8 or 9 in the story, you can actually engrave your gear and make UR gear. So what you do is you select the hero. So let's say I wanted to make, like, just as an example, Hawk UR gear, right? I'd click on Hawk, we'd click on gear, and he doesn't have any gear equipped. So you can unequip, equipped, and it'll show you all the gear that you have, like, already built that you can make for Hawk, let's say. So if I went to this piece right here and I was like, oh, this piece has really good, you know, base stat. So I'm like, okay, let me give this to Hawk. It's going to cost 10 engraving stones and then 1, you know, 6-star awakening stone. Alright, so we're at the final part of the video. This is going to be explaining how to enhance your gear and how to actually obtain the red stones and the awakening stones for enhancing and awakening your gear. So if you actually go to Deanne over here in the little corner and you go to the salvage button that she has right there, you can actually dismantle a bunch of your gear that you don't want to use and actually get awakening stones and red stones from it. If you guys don't know, you're gonna need these red stones right here, the enhanced stones, and you're gonna need the awakening stones to actually awaken your gear. So one tip that I can give you guys as well is that the only important pieces of awakening stones that you would even need anyway are going to be the 5-star awakening stone, because the 5-star and the 6-star. The 4-star you're not going to use at all. You're not making SR gear. The 3-star you could make R gear with, and then the 2-star you can make common gear with as well, or UC, and yeah, so the 1-star is gonna be common. But basically you only really need the 5-star equivalent of the awakening stone. So what you can do is you can go over to King over here and you can do the exchange thing, and what you can do is you can actually exchange up all these 4-star ones into the 5-star ones, because you're not going to be using any of the 4-star ones, just like that. So you're going to be able to actually exchange them up. So yeah, you basically get awakening stones and enhanced things, enhanced stones from actually dismantling. So if I just dismantle like all of this right here, just dismantle this, yeah, whatever, and I salvage it, right? We're gonna do a little animation here, and you're gonna be able to get the awakening stones from it, the red stones, and some other higher level awakening stones depending on the salvage up. So depending on the event as well, like you know, if you're during like an anniversary or whatever the case, there might be what it says right up here, the equipment salvage super and ultra success rate increase. That means you're able to get better rewards from salvaging your gear, and this is going to be the optimal time to actually do it. So you know, it obviously depends on the celebration, but when it is like a bigger celebration, they usually have like an equipment salvage super success, ultra success one. So that's when you're going to want to be salvaging your gear and then going about that. But yeah, and then you know, going to the gear itself when you actually enhance it. So if you go to a gear and you just literally go to this, it's gonna cost the redstone, it's gonna cost gold, but it's also gonna cost the awakening stones able to do it as well. So as you can see, this is how much it's gonna cost to actually max awaken a SSR piece of gear. It's gonna cost 15 5-star stones and then 710 red stones with 2.6 million gold. Alright, so that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This took me a long ass time to make this video, so if you guys would like and subscribe for the video, it would mean a lot, man. You know, I don't know if I haven't done this type of like layout for a video before, so if you guys like this type of guide style, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be making a ton of these in the future for you guys that want to know things in Grand Cross. So that's going to be it, and I'll see you guys in the next Grand Cross video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.